Om ye dharma hetu prabhavam hetum tesham tathagato hyavatat tesham chayo nirodha evam vati mahashramanaye svaha. Om ye dharma hetu prabhavam hetum tesham tathagato hyavatat tesham chayo nirodha evam vati mahashramanaye svaha. Okay, we'll read from page 61, the Noble Mana Sutra, Dependent Arising. Page 61. Page 61. Noble Mana Sutra, Dependent Arising. Homage to all Buddhas and Bodhisattvas. We'll read this together. Homage to all Buddhas and Bodhisattvas. Thus did I hear at one time, the Blessed One was in the realm of the 33 gods, seated on the throne of Indra. With him were great heroes such as Venerable Bodhisattva Mahasattva, such as Noble Maitreya, Noble Avalokiteshvara, and Vajrapani, were adorned with immeasurable precious qualities, as well as various gods such as the great Brahma, who is the Lord of the Saha world, Narayana, the great Ishvara, Sakhara, who is the chief of the gods, and the Panchasika, who is the king of the Gandharvas. On their occasion, the Bodhisattva Mahasattva, Avalokiteshvara, rose from his seat and, having draped his upper robe over one shoulder, knelt down with his right knee on the peak of Mount Meru. His palms together, he then bowed to the Blessed One and addressed these words to him. Blessed One, these gods already wish to build a stupa. Now that they are present in the entourage, please teach them the Dharma in such a way so that the merit of Brahma will increase, and the merit of the monks, nuns, laymen, and laywomen will increase much more than that of all types of beings in the world of gods, Maras and Brahmas, including renunciants and Brahmins. At this, the Blessed One spoke the verses of dependent arising. E dharma hetu prabhava hetum tesham tathagato hyavatat tesham chayo nirodha evam vati mahashra. All phenomena arise from causes. The causes are taught by the Tathagata. The cessation of the causes as well is taught by the great seer Avalokiteshvara. It is like this. The dependent arising is the Dharmakaya of all the Buddhas. One who sees dependent arising sees the Tathagata. Avalokiteshvara, if a faithful son or a daughter of a noble family builds in a remote place a stupa, the size of a gooseberry fruit, with a central pillar, the size of a needle, and a parasol, the size of the flower of the bagula tree, and insert this verse of dependent arising, which is the Dhammadhatu, he or she will generate the merit of Brahma. When such person pass on from here in time, they will be reborn in the world of Brahma. When they pass on from there in time, they will be reborn with fortunes equaling those of the gods of the pure gods. After the Blessed One has spoken these words, the hearers, Bodhisattvas, the whole assembly, and the universe of gods, Brahma, humans, Asuras, and Gandharvas rejoiced and praised his teaching. Okay. We were discussing on the two defilements. What are the two defilements? What are the two obscurations, two defilements? Yes. Afflictive obscurations, cognitive obscurations. Okay. And what does the afflictive obscuration do to us? What does it do? Anyone? Yes. Sit. Huh?
Obscures
Okay, anybody else who likes to be more precise?
It prevents us from achieving fearlessness.
It prevents us from achieving fearlessness, which is technically referred to as nirvana. Okay, what does the ultimate no? What does the concept of creation do to us? Anyone resents? Resents? Yes. It prevents you from attaining Buddhahood. How many agree with Chelsea? Resents? Okay, good. Okay, now our job is to get rid of these two defilements. And keep in mind, while we learn the technicalities here, we also learn how to apply this in our day-to-day life, how to relate this to our day-to-day life. That's very important. And I would say that unless until we learn this skill of how to tackle your day-to-day life, you can never be happy. We have to learn these skills and how to keep yourself happy. And this skill will take to our next lives. See, some people, and many of you might have the question, how do we know that there's next life? How do we know? This is a very serious question. And okay, by the way, how many got some sense that rebirth is there? Yes, rebirth exists. How many you get some sense? And don't feel don't worry that, okay, if I don't raise my hands, it's very weird. I come to a Buddhist center. Okay, don't worry about that. This is something that if we learn in this life, how to, how we can understand the rationality of the rebirth in this life. We can learn this. Then yes, this habit we take to the next life. This habit. So, I personally would say that this is many years of journey, my personal journey into the establishing the rebirth, how the rebirth exists. This is a very serious question, and it should be an ongoing search for each one of us. Some of us, through the several indications, you can get a feeling that yes, there's rebirth. And some people born in a system, in a tradition where the rebirth is accepted, and then you're born with this belief that yes, it exists. And some people, even if you're born in such a tradition, still as you grow older, these questions can strike you. And yes, the no need to worry about you. This is something which we have to explore. And I personally, in fact, it shook me so deeply when I was just like 20 or 21 years old, when I finished my high school, and I was intending to become a physicist, intending to join the physics as the major subject, and suddenly everything shook twice. First one shook, and it took me to join the Institute of Buddhist Dialectics rather than going to the regular college. And then in the Institute of Buddhist Dialectics, Dharamsala, again I was shaken. The whole faith was shaken by a lecturer, by a neuroscientist, American lady doctor, who spoke a beautiful lecture, who gave a beautiful lecture on the workings of the brain and the neurons. And I was assigned by my teacher, Venerable Geshe Lobsang Gyatso Rinpoche, who was the founding director of the institute, that he assigned me to be the translator. But that's amazing. He did not have any modern education, but he's very open-minded. He invited the neuroscientists to give a talk to his monk students on neuroscience, and I was assigned to be the translator. So, given that I was the translator, I tried my best to convey whatever the lady doctor said to the monk students. And at the end of the day, when I was in school, class 12, I did not take biology. In class 11, yes, I took biology, and whatever little I learned of the workings of the brain and neurons, it was extremely cursory, very gross, and what she was saying was extremely profound, that she was identifying all our physical, verbal actions, emotions to the brain. So this part of the brain, amygdala, is responsible for your emotional states, the cortex is responsible for your visual, and the sensory inputs and so forth, and the colors, the language. This is all decided by the various parts of the brain. I was extremely fascinated. At the same time, it shook my faith. If this is how the brain works, where is the mind? This was the question which hit me so hard. And that night I did not have sleep. I was and then if there's no mind, then why should have to study Buddhism? Right? This was the major question that hit me so hard as a young boy. And luckily I was in the Institute of Buddhist Dialectics. Usually the monastic, the monasteries, there are two kinds. One which follows more rituals, other which follows the study of the philosophy. And I was lucky that I was in the monastery which is into the studies of the more like academic monastery. And then I told myself that, okay, Dorji, now don't start as a Buddhist, start with a clean slate. Just check objectively if there is a mind different from the brain. And luckily the book by Acharya Dharmakirti, the Pramana Vartika, chapter 2. So this is exclusively on the rebirth. It's purely on how rebirth is established rationally. This is going to be very useful, but then you have to study this separately, and initially it must be taught, be under the guidance of somebody. It cannot be you just read it and you cannot understand it. Okay, so that is a very important point. So with this, what we see, what I'm saying is that the habits that we have. For example, some people, they're extremely decent, extremely intelligent, and so kind, and that's amazing. Just to see these qualities there, you're just amazed by the human qualities. And sometimes things are so raw and nasty. How the children, they bully their parents. When I see this, how they really torture their parents. It's extremely painful. Where's the humanity turning towards? These are the things. And then from this, you can see what is known as the pakchak in Tibetan, imprints from the past lives. So these are something which we can see quite prominently. For example, I would say that, for example, if you look at the genesis of the Einstein's brilliance, if you go back according to evolutionary theory, if you go back in time, so human beings, Homo sapiens, is just 0.3 million years old. Homo sapiens is just 0.3 million years old. And then the unicellular organism is 4 billion years old. And the planet Earth is 4.6 billion years old, planet Earth. And the universe, but the visible universe, so this is the distinction that we need to make. The visible universe and the universe per se, these two are different. The universe, the visible universe, is just 15 billion years old. Through the calculation by the physicists on the basis of Doppler's effect, 15 billion years old. So from this, one can say the Homo sapiens is just 0.3 million years old. And you go back, for example, Einstein or like Mozart. Mozart, his music skills. If you go back, track back pertain to their genesis of their existence, evolution. We can't imagine anybody in this direction back to 0.3 million years ago. You cannot really track somebody with such a genius as the Mozart himself, and nor as a genius that Albert Einstein. I can't imagine that happening. If that is the case, then this genius, it came from where? So all our brains, there's the genetic makeup. This all came from the past, from 0.3 million years in the past. So this is what came from. From there, if you track the tree of your, say, the origin, till 0.3 million years ago, we can't see anybody as genius as the Einstein or as genius as Mozart. We can't see that. So where these skills came from where? These skills came from where? And we see in our day-to-day life, we see that only through learning something, with the previous learning, then you acquire some skills. So in other words, what I'm saying is that the skills that we acquire, we can see that for ordinary people like us, it comes from, say, our previous learning. Now people talk about artificial intelligence. Recently, in fact, I have some interesting physicists, the friends, who talk about artificial intelligence, and one, particularly this one who is very creative, he talks about downloading your memories. Downloading your memories on the computer. From the brain, you download it to the computers, and the Ajala's memory, you can download it and upload it on your brain. So people talk about it. This is it's just what they're talking about at the moment. So whether it's happening or not happening, I would say this is going to be very exciting, and I wish that it happens while I'm still alive, because there are many questions. So there's something related to these things are happening. Yes, in fact, what I learned was that was many years ago. That one of my very good, close friends, who is associated with the modern science, the updated researchers, said that if you're blind, you can put some chips here in your brain, and then that's connected to your finger, and then with the finger you can read. So what your retina, your eyes do, that is being directly. So they actually they feed the brain. They take the light, they feed the brain, and the brain then gets activated, and you get a feeling that I'm seeing something. This is how the visual operation happens. So now, what he said is that instead of retina, instead of need of the retina, information is sent directly through the chips, through the brain, without the need of the eyes, brain, and then there the brain gets activated to give you the feeling that I'm seeing, and you're actually seeing it. You can read the letters so well. Anticipatory compassion, Yuta, Immaculate Dharma, right? You can read everything. Okay. So this I can understand it. This is not an issue. Issue is about downloading memory. For example, Ajala's memory downloaded to the computer, and from the computer uploaded to my brain, and then I remember what Ajala did in the past. And if this happens, this is quite a serious matter. So then it can possibly it can be little complex. So there, even from the point of the people from the side of the reincarnation, meaning the people from the side of who accepts reincarnation, there must be some brilliant people, intelligent people who can interpret see the nuances of the AI, artificial intelligence. Otherwise, just by seeing some functions of the AI, people just rashly conclude that, oh, now there's no mind. It's actually the mechanical, the brain, mechanical computer that gives us all these mental functions. So this is something which I'm very curious to see, that these things they happen in this life, meaning while I'm still alive. So, and then we can actually have more discussions, serious discussions, to go to the nuances. Okay, this is just a little bit of digression. So with this, by the way, for your information, for all of us to get it easily, something which is easily understandable, is that, say, our brain, which is like a mechanical computer. And however sophisticated computer is, we need an external operator. You agree with me? However sophisticated computer is, we need external operator. And this computer for brain, we don't need any external operator because there is a mind which is operating on this. There's already a mind operating. Otherwise, the brain per se is purely mechanical. Brain per se purely like a computer is mechanical. And for the external computers, we need somebody to operate on this. And this is what I said recently in some other places also, that at one point, many average people, population of the world, they may get a feeling that artificial intelligence is governing the whole world. Actually, it is not. Say for example, when you go somewhere, instantly all your, on the basis of what you did in the past, all this can come on your mobile, right? Okay, you are here now. You are interested to go for what? A cheesecake. So the cheesecake shop is right here, right? You feel like eating something, cheesecake, and instantly the mobile says that you're interested. There's a cheesecake shop right here. And so like somebody is watching you. Very scary. Nobody's watching you. It is some brilliant people who are operating on these sophisticated computers. All these information are stored there, and then some brilliant people, they operate on this. And ordinary people, we think that there is some kind of agency outside there who is observing, managing us. No, most likely there's every danger that some few brilliant people will govern the whole world on the basis of the computer, and then the concept of the nation can dissolve. It's very dangerous. Okay, this are all which can likely happen in the very near future. For time being, so what we need to know is that external computers, however sophisticated they are, they require external operators. You're getting it? Somebody has to press the button, give the command, otherwise the computer will not operate on its own. Whereas our brain, which is purely like a mechanical computer, it does not require an operator, right? Morning somebody comes and then press you somewhere here, right? And then you start operating. No, it's not like this. You operate on your own because there's a mind there which operates on your brain. So for external computer, they do not have the mind, therefore it requires external operator. Okay, so with this, the next point that we are going to learn, and then yes, there are some who are new, otherwise most of you are not really new, but those who are not new, I would request you to be a little sympathetic towards the newcomers, and don't just push yourself, to go too deep very quickly, because you have already studied these things before. In fact, the newcomers, they must have a voice, they must learn, they must get the opportunity to learn from being here. Okay. So what we're going to learn here is that let's see, we're talking about first the two goals that we are seeing, that we are seeking: fearlessness, technically referred to as nirvana; infinite happiness, technically referred to as the Buddhahood. And we have the two seats inside us, the Buddha nature inside us. And why this is not visible? Because of the two obscurations. And we need to get rid of these two obscurations. Then your job is done, right? And then whether you call yourself Buddhist, Hindu, Muslim, Jain, Christian, non-believer, scientist, male, female, your job is done. That you have experienced the infinite happiness and fearlessness. And they say, like Chanjubla, you can call this state as Chanjubism. You can call with any ism, right? So the point is that our job is not about the systems, it's not about the isms, it's about your infinite happiness and your fearlessness. You're getting it? Your fearlessness. And for this we should be Number one, we should be kind to ourselves and we should be wisely kind to ourselves. Now, let's not forget it. We should be kind to ourselves, meaning make sure that you take yourself closer towards these two goals. Right? And then we should be wisely kind to ourselves. We should be wisely kind to ourselves. How? So in the pretext of being kind to yourself, you do something wrong to take you away from these two goals. For example, like after 20 years, right? After 20 years, some of us may feel so miserable, right? And then you meet with so much of tragedies in your life and you feel so miserable, low, and suddenly you remember, oh, 20-something, what, 2021 or 2020 or 2022 something. So I went to the place known as something, what, fundamental or root or something in Bodh Gaya was there, and who was that teacher? Somebody was there. I don't remember him, Damdil or something, right? And he said that be kind to yourself, right? Oh yeah, I should be kind to myself. So look, I'm so miserable now. I should be kind to myself, right? Why should I be miserable? I should be kind to myself. Then go to pubs. You go to the pubs to forget your, the tension, stress. And then, okay, so this is, you're trying to be kind to yourself, but you forgot the second line, which is be wisely kind to yourself, which means that do those things which will actually take you closer towards fearlessness and which will actually take you closer towards your infinite happiness. This is the meaning of be wise to kind to yourself. In other words, what the Buddha taught, in the mornings we recite Ye Dharma Mantra, Ye Dharma Hetu Prabhava. All these phenomena arise from the causes. Ye Dharma Hetu Prabhava. So this phenomena of the miseries and the phenomena of happiness, miseries we don't like and happiness that we seek, these don't expect things to happen to you randomly. They all arise from their respective causes. You're getting it? Respective causes. So from this we see that, okay, tell me, let's start the fear. You think it's a resultant state or it's a causal state? Fear. Happiness, resultant state or causal state? Let's say the anger, resultant state or causal state? Causal or resultant? Anger, right? So anger, and they say you become so angry and you shout at someone, right? And you don't know that that person is the boss of your company, right? And you shout at the person and you go back to your seat and you get a note, so you are fired. Right? So who fired you? Your anger fired you. You're getting it? Your anger fired you. Right? Okay. So say the being fired, that's the result of the causal state. Resultant state. And what fired you is the cause. Right? Anger fired you. So anger is the causal factor. You're getting it? So within your emotions, mental states, there are two. One is the resultant state and what is the causal state. You're getting it? So be kind to yourself is give yourself the good results. Be wisely kind to yourself is get hold of the good causes. The first line is about the results, and the second one is about the causes of the results. You're getting it? And the results are also mental state. Say you are stressed, you are depressed, you're feeling low, right? The fear. These are all the resultant states which we don't want. And when you're angry, okay, how many of you want to be angry? You don't want to be angry. But when you are angry, right, then it gives you a false energy that somebody says, hey, don't be what angry, what not angry, right? Then when you are in the grip of anger, then they reinforce this anger, right? Whereas when you're sad, how many of you reinforce your sadness? Nobody. That is the resultant state. When you are in the grip of the anger, you reinforce this. These are you voluntarily engage in these. Initially, you will not voluntarily engage in anger, but in the midst of the anger,
then you reinforce the anger, right? So what you voluntarily or what you do to reinforce these negative emotions are known as causal states. Causal states responsible in giving rise to miseries to you. So anger, attachment, all these afflictions, they are the causal states. So when the Buddha said, Ye dharma hetu prabhava, ye dharma, these phenomena, these resultant experiences, the pains, happiness, they are the results of their causes. What are these causes? The causes, happiness, virtues. Virtues are the causes of the happiness. And the miseries, afflictions, contaminant karmas, destructive karmas. These are the causal factors. So, when we think of the resultant states, happiness that we seek, suffering that we shun, these are the two resultant states. But then happiness also comes to us, miseries also come to us. So, how do they arise? And usually we tend to look for the immediate cause. The causes, there are many layers of causes. And the immediate cause, for example, say you eat wrong food, stale food, you suffer. Or you go into that very dusty place and then you have sore throat. So we see that the dust is responsible, the stale food is responsible, and the external factors are there. But there's also the other factors which if without studying, without exploring these, we will not know what these the other factors are. So wise people will look for the other factors which otherwise remain the unnoticed. Okay, so what are these factors? These factors are known as, those are responsible for your miseries. They are known as afflictive obscurations. In other words, afflictive obscurations, they attract miseries. Okay, this is one thing that I like to share with you. I seek your advice. And you have to give me, particularly those who are not from the NMC, right? You give me the advice. You give me good advice. The advice that I'm seeking from you is that I live in Delhi. And in Delhi, the flat that I'm in is on the fourth floor. And Delhi is, particularly now, November is a very pleasant weather and it's dry and pleasant weather. But there's a moisture in my house. Okay, don't worry. Don't think that there's a moisture here, I'm just creating a story. There is moisture in my house, and because of which, what happens? You have asthma problem. I did have asthma problem like 15-20 years ago, so now it's over. But let's say that I have the asthma problem, and it's extremely problematic. This problem, I want to get away from this problem, asthma problem. So, what advice would you give me? Anyone? I give you some clues. That I live in the third floor, and now the weather is so good, dry, but due to moisture inside my house, I have the asthma problem. So how should I get away from asthma problem? Advice. Anyone? Okay, there. Open the window. Yes, open the window. Mosquitoes very problematic. Oh, mosquitoes. So look, very recently, all these things coming because of the open windows. Okay. Okay. Which means you are not doing meditation too much. Do meditation, right? Meditation. Then asthma will go away. No.
Meditation.
Huh?
Medication, like some medicine.
Okay, medication. Okay, go to the AIMS hospital, which is close to your place, right? Go there, get the medicines. Yes, okay. Yes, I agree. Okay. With the medication, but the problem doesn't go away. Still, I take the medicine again in 2 days' time, again the problem relapses. Anyone else? What advice would you give me? Yes. Move to countryside. Oh. Then they have to manage Tibet house. Right? Okay. Anyone else? What advice will you give? Yes. Huh? Move to a lower floor. Okay, move to a lower floor. There's so many books I have. Heavy books, Okay, and this is on all of you. Remember that past life, maybe I was a librarian. Librarian who's so, who's crazy after the books. Anybody just make like this sketch, and I'll freak. No, right? So I'm so keen the books, not reading the books, right? Okay, it doesn't mean that I don't read. Yes, I do read books. Okay, so what should I do? Yes. What is your name? What's your name? Rajni. Okay, Rajni is like, Geshe-la, hold on for a while. Don't listen to these people. Right? I'll come. And she comes. And she went to all the water pipelines, and saw that there's a fine crack there, very fine crack. From there, the water invisibly was like a moisture there, and actually, in few hours' time, whole house is with, say, the water vapors, unseen, right? So that is causing the asthma. So she said that, okay, now Geshe-la, don't think of moving down, all the books, heavy books, right? No need to open the window, so mosquitoes will come, right? And then what? No need to go to the countryside, right? You have to manage Tibet house. Okay, so she said, okay, wait, I'll come in 10 minutes. She goes out, and what is that? What is that? M-seal. There's a glue. She gets a glue for 10 rupees. 10 rupees is like less than 10, what? 1/10 of a dollar. Huh? 10 cents. 10 cents, US 10 cents. So just 10 rupees, she got me a glue and then fix it. So I don't have to go to hospital, right? All the hospital timing, all saved. Then I don't have to open the window, no mosquitoes. I don't have to move to countryside, I don't have to move down. And some people, they ask me to buy dehumidifier. Dehumidifier to remove the moisture. And the dehumidifier, it gets, sometimes it doesn't work. So I have to call the technician. Technician will say, I'll come tomorrow. And tomorrow never comes. Right? It's an extra headache. So the point is that, so how did Rajni succeed in helping me so effectively with just 10 rupees? I don't know whether the glue M-seal is just 10 rupees, maybe 20 rupees. They said 20 rupees. In 20 rupees is very cheap. She fixed the problem, right? How did she succeed in this? Medication, I have to keep taking the medicine because the moisture is not gone away. By taking the medicine, the moisture disappears. That's amazing, right? Okay, so these are not solutions. The real solutions, you have to track the cause. You're getting it? You have to track the cause. Once you identify the cause well, fix the cause, the problem will be fixed altogether. Let's not forget it. This is the Buddha's approach. You're getting it? Track the cause, fix the cause, your problem will be fixed. This is the Buddha's approach. This is the meaning of Ye Dharma Hetu Prabhava. All these phenomena, they arise from the causes. And what are the causes? is indicated by the Tathagata. How to bring an end to these causes is also taught by the great seer. You're getting it? Okay, so we have to track the cause. So for this, let's say that how many of you, when you are by yourself, you feel so lonely? Raise hands. Sometimes you feel so lonely. Raise hands. Be very honest. Don't feel shy. Very lonely, right? And then when you're with other people, how many feel I have no privacy? Right? So what should we do now? Should we be alone or should we be somebody else? If you're alone, you're lonely. If you're with somebody else, no privacy. What should you do now? So something is wrong. So when these things happen, A or B, if there are only two choices, A or B, in both cases you have a problem, means it's your problem. You're getting it? So the cause is not outside, the cause is inside. So when you're alone, wow, I'm so lucky I have the privacy. When you're with other people, I'm so lucky that I'm not alone. I'm not lonely. You're getting it? So you should be able to find joy in every moment. This is the skill that we need to learn, right? So if that is the case, for sure from this we see that the joys and the pains, the causes are not really 100% outside, it's inside. But it doesn't mean that when something goes wrong to you, it's all because of your wrong thinking, is your wrong thinking, is you are to be blamed. No, again, let's not forget this, be very realistic. You're getting it? If there are two options for you, if there are two options, A or non-A, if there are two options, and by getting rid of the A, you move to non-A, and then your happiness grows, you are not to be blamed. External factors to be blamed. For example, like some people, there's a tremendous domestic violence, abuse happening. The moment you leave, then you get a total like a freedom. This is, don't blame yourself on such situation, right? Oh, I learned Dharma, so when people abuse me, so something wrong within me, internal factor. Don't think like this. We should be very careful. Try your best to stay away from the external factors, right? Okay, so let's say, okay, let us all put our hands, two hands out, and some of you must have done it 10, 20 times, right? Okay, now only one hand. No, son, don't slap somebody else, right? Okay, here, the day one, this is not an issue. Everybody is so reserved, right? Then day 2, 3, know each other so well, then you must slap. Okay, so what I'm saying is that with the two hands coming together, the sound invariably arises. This sound is the metaphor for your problems. The problems that we don't want to have, but the problems invariably arise because of the two hands coming together. What are two hands? The two hands are the metaphor for the external factors and the internal factors, the two factors. So our problems, no doubt the external factors there, the internal factors there, both are responsible. Don't just say there is internal, both are responsible. So try your best to stay away from the external factors. But we are so good at blaming external factors, right? We are so good at blaming external factors. Okay. Okay, so oftentimes we do this exercise, doing mathematical calculation, and when I say it, slowly, the people can give correct answers. When I do it very fast, 2 plus 3 plus 2 minus 1 plus 2 plus, when I say it so fast, people cannot give the answer. And why you cannot give the answer to this question? The second time, most of the people say that because you said it fast, right? Is it true or not? You fail to do the calculation properly because I said the question very fast. Is it true or not? Yes, it's true. Yes, I said it so fast. If I said at the same pace as I did with the first one, then you should be feeling, you should be giving the correct answer. But the fact that you cannot give the answer in second case is because I said it so fast. So meanwhile, your brain also works slow. And you do not, you don't this does not really come to a mind. That my mind works slow. You said it fast. That is more likely the answer that comes from you, saying that why are you failed to give the answer? Because you said it fast. Instead of saying that my brain works so slow, right? Both are responsible, but we are so addicted to point to the external factors. Meanwhile, don't feel shy to say that I'm always, yes, that's true, I'm always blaming external factors. Don't feel shy, right? What's the purpose for you? The purpose of your life, is it not to feel shy or to get the maximum happiness and infinite the total fearlessness? What is your purpose? To get the maximum happiness and total fearlessness. So if by blaming external factors, you can attain these two goals, that is your dharma. That is your spiritual dharma. You're getting it? Whereas in reality, by blaming the external factors, what do you expect? You expect to remove the external factors. How many such external factors are there? Tell me. Raise hands. Raise hands. How many such external factors are there? Ajay Putila? Infinite external factors. How many agree with me? Yes, that's very true. So those who do not have a house, they always envy those people who have the house. Those who have the house, very complicated, right? To manage the house. And those with small house envy those with big house. Those with big house, they don't know how to manage the house. They have to depend on the helpers. And they don't trust the helpers. And helpers are complicated, right? So what do you do? With house or without house? Right? With bigger house or smaller house? Very complicated, right? Extremely complicated. So we see that how many such external factors are there? Just try to relate this to your own life. How many such external factors are there responsible for my problems? Right? Okay, some of us volunteer to share with us some of the problems you experience in your life. Anybody who likes to share some acute problems in your life? Raise hands. Nobody wants to share. Just including NMC. Anyone? Just share some of your thoughts. Problems, yes.
Kishila, I lost my grandmother when I was small, 7 years old, and I was very attached to her.
So the pain of having lost a grandmother. Okay. Anyone else? Anyone else? Yes, Pamisilla. Yes, the anxiety related to college admission. Yes, this is a major problem for the students. The entry, the threshold into the college, competitive exams and so forth is a major tension.
Kishila, my grandson had a stroke during his birth.
Okay, grandson having stroke during his birth, very painful. Yes, indeed. Anyone else? Anyone else? Yes.
Seeing so many people die every day from COVID.
Yes. Ajam Kesala is the professional nurse in America and tackling the COVID. And she so kindly came to help to tackle the COVID in Dharamsala in the various Tibetan communities. So in the peak of COVID, she came, risking her own life. So kind. And her team. Yeah. So to see that so many people are dying, extremely painful. Anyone else?
Keeping everyone happy. Keeping everyone happy, like the happiness of other beings is not only dependent on you, it depends on their karma and their causes also.
So the pain that to realize that the other's happiness is not something purely dependent on you, right? How others are also responsible, but they don't take care of themselves, right? Okay, this is the pain. Yes, there's particularly the naughty children.
Sorry?
Naughty children in your school.
Not children, children and colleagues.
Particularly the elders. Yeah, more complicated. Children, you can say something, they listen. Elders, they don't listen. Right? Okay. Good. Anyone else? Okay. So let's see that just let us be very honest to yourself, including myself, and see what are the problems that I encountered, that I am encountering, that I will encounter, potentially encounter in the future. And what are these problems like? Just believe it or not, in most cases, it's related to I and then external factor. External factor. We don't really look for the internal factors. You're getting it? We don't. It's all related to external factors. It's all related to external factors. When that happens, it's not that how come that you don't look at the internal factors. No, don't blame like this. Always, number one, be kind, be gentle. Don't be rough on yourself. Don't be unkind to yourself. Be kind, be gentle, and convince yourself that, by looking for by pointing the reasons to the external factors, if by doing so, if your miseries become zero, that is your spiritual path. But on the contrary, such external factors, they're innumerable in number. We cannot possibly get rid of all the external factors. What's the external factors like? How they proliferate. Say like, if there is a poisonous tree there, and the wind blowing through the poisonous tree, you have skin rashes. Skin rashes. So that is responsible. Yes, that is responsible. That the poisonous tree is responsible. So you try to remove the leaves. Remove the leaves. Okay, you have a respite for the next few days. And then after again 2 weeks, 3 weeks, again more leaves will grow. You're getting it? So this is not a lasting solution. So the lasting solution is, what do you do? Uproot. Likewise, the lasting solution to your problems is either you remove the external factors of the two hands. Either you remove the external factors, so with the one hand, no sound. Sound of misery stops. Or remove the internal factors, external factors are there, but no sound. Sound of misery stops. You have to do one of these two things. Or best is remove both. Otherwise, one of these two, at least remove one so that the sound of the misery stops. So, the question is, which is more practical, realistic? To get into external factors or to get into internal factors? External factors, as I said, that they are innumerable. We all agreed. There are innumerable external factors. So, if there is a possibility that our miseries can be brought to zero, this is what we are seeking, total fearlessness, then the only option left is to look for to get rid of the internal factors. You're getting it? You agree? You agree? Good. If you agree, what would be the next question? How? Okay. So here this is like the fast track retreat. So because there are two questions and you bypass the first question. The first question is, what are the internal factors? And then how to get rid of these internal factors. You're getting it? You just take for granted what right? You jump to how. You're right? That's good. Sometimes emergency is required. Yeah. So what are the internal factors and how to get rid of them? This is the two things. Internal factors, broadly speaking, there are two. External factors, they're innumerable in number, right? Innumerable number, while those people who actually do things which can actually make things happen, these are the wise people. Those people who do things which will never make things happen, these are the unwise people. In other words, all of us who are so keen to blame external factors all the time for your problems, they are unwise, because by blaming external factors, your problems will never become zero. Because external factors, there's never an end to this. So the wise people will think of the alternative way, that is internal factors. And internal factors, there are two. One is ignorance, and other one is self-centered attitude. And technically speaking, self-grasping ignorance. There are two internal factors. First one is self-grasping ignorance, and the second one is self-centered attitude. Okay. And it's not just it's not just sufficient for us to just say, oh, this is true. Fun, you must be convinced how these two combined together makes you miserable. For example, let's say, sometimes, how many of you had that experience? Sometimes for no reason, you get up early morning, or so whatever, the morning you get up and you feel so low for no reason. Things are so gloomy, you feel so low, there's a deep sense of sadness. Okay, how many of you had that experience? Raise hands. Oh, our youngest one, he also had that experience. Okay. Okay, anyone who did not have that experience in their life, raise hands. Who did not have that experience? Brah, interesting. You must be from another world system. Right? We need to check it. Right? Although he's divine, or he forgot his past experience, we'll check it. Right? First we'll check from the breakfast. Okay, that's interesting, Prag. Thank you. Okay, so what I'm saying is these feelings, when these feelings happen, this is so, one, very practical, number two, very important, and number three, you will be amazed that once you even though you may not be able to identify that right away, but at least when these things happen, any feeling of sadness, feeling of agitation, frustration, or stress comes to you, that okay, now what is happening? This feeling that I'm having is the pain, unease, that is like the sound of a clap. Sound of a clap means it came from two factors, external factor and internal factor. And external factor, whatever it is, external factor, I cannot get into the external factors completely, right? So internal factors, there are two. What are they? Self-grasping ignorance and? Okay, let us be a little louder. What are the two factors? Internal. Wonderful, thank you. Self-grasping ignorance, self-centered attitude. And we have to learn. So the first, now the internal factors are also acting. These two things. If the internal factors are not there, external factors I cannot really expect to get into all the external factors. How many agree with me? External factors, I cannot think of getting into all the external factors. Right? Okay. So now the only hope lies in remove the internal factors. And the internal factors, so the pain is there, internal factors are always acting. External factors there, internal factors also acting. The internal factors there are two, self-grasping and self-centered attitude. These two are acting on me. So if these two are gone, then external factors alone, no sound. Sound of the misery stops. Your agitation stops. Your, the sadness stops. Your stress stops. Stress, there are two. Physical stress and mental stress. Now, physical stress, yes, our body has limitations. So we need time for rest. But mental stress, mind also requires rest. At the same time, oftentimes the stress is created by these two, self-grasping ignorance, self-centered attitude, and agitation, sadness. These things come, no doubt these two are acting on us, self-grasping ignorance, self-centered attitude. From this retreat, we must learn what is self-grasping ignorance, what is self-centered attitude, how to get rid of these two, and how these two play with my mind to create these agitations within me, and how to get rid of these two. What are the remedies to overcome these two? So these are things that we're going to learn from this retreat. You're getting it? So once you learn this, then you get the whole purpose of your life. Purpose of life is to We live in hope, and we hope for happiness. The genuine happiness is the purpose of life. So get rid of these two things, and then only the one hand is left. External factors left. But external, however ferocious, however strong the external factors, no sound. The sound of your misery stops. So this is the ultimate purpose of your life. Okay. Okay. So thus far is very easy. Now it will become a little more technical, right? We'll stop here. Okay, 1 or 2 questions if you have. 1 or 2 questions. And those questions coming from the group discussions, if you have some technical questions which you say you find it very difficult. And for group discussions, one thing I also like to share with you is that it is not necessary that everything must be settled in the group discussion. You're getting it? So where there is the same disagreements happening and no need to settle everything, move to the next point. This is what we should be doing so that we can, and oftentimes many of these questions you will get answers in the next day, the 3rd day, 4th day. As we grow your knowledge, you will get these answers eventually. Okay, so any questions? Yes.
Geshe-la, you mentioned how anger is a causal state.
Yes.
So I'm very curious from the previous session how the seed of an anger is different from anger as a causal state.
Let's say seed of anger and anger. These two are different. Seed of anger and anger. Both are causes. Meaning that, of course, because this is more like a crash course. 7 days nothing, right? Actually, it should be if you want to really go for more, then the NMC. 5 years, you will get a good picture of the whole life and the reality. But within 1 week, if I cover all these details, so then for the detailed study is that cause and effect. These two are the more like the synonymous. What is the cause is the effect? What is the effect is the cause? You're getting it? But causal state with respect to one object. Say for example, me and my parents. My parents are my cause and I'm the result of my parents. Right? So with respect to one object, then the cause and effect are contradictory. Otherwise, in generally speaking, what is the cause also effect? For example, say the 2020-2021 is the result of 2020, is the cause of 2022. So the same object is cause and effect both. But say in terms of your emotional states, that ye dharma hetu prabhava, all these phenomena arise from the causes. So this phenomena refer they say to us the miseries that we go through, the happiness that we are seeking. These are the resultant states. We look for good results, right? For the good results, you have to put effort. Effort is the cause. So this is one set of convention. So in this context, happiness that we seek is a result, and the fear, unhappiness, stress, these are the negative results. So these negative results come from your causal mental states, like anger, in other words, like the afflictive obscurations. And the happiness is a result of the virtuous mind. Okay, this is, otherwise, anger and the seed of anger, both are causes. Both the causes of yes, anger has keeping in mind the result in the future life. And immediately, anger and the seed of anger destroys your peace of mind, number one. Then the anger destroys your sense of judgment, proper sense of judgment. It destroys that. But why I'm saying this? When your anger subsides, you regret many of the things that you did when you were angry, right? Okay. There's a beautiful expression which says that don't take decisions when you are angry, right? Don't make promises when you are happy. Well, what did you say? Don't make promises when you're happy. When you're happy, you make lots of promises. And eventually you cannot fulfill them. Don't take decisions when you are angry. You're getting it? Say the boxers, this is amazing. The boxers, right? The coach, they will deliberately tell you that you don't lose your cool. Don't lose your cool. You can provoke the other side. Make the other person lose the cool. Right? Provoke the other person. Make the other person go like crazy. But you don't lose your cool. The moment you lose your cool, you're bound to be defeated. So the anger is the one which makes you to make wrong decisions, and you will regret later once the anger subsides. Okay, any more questions? Yes.
So my question is, when I'm in a difficult situation and emotions emerge like anger or jealousy, when they emerge, I feel like it's too late to do anything about it. So what do you do to prevent it from happening?
Okay. Again, in this book, so this book is a real treasure store. In this book, there is one section, just look at the table of contents, that section, 37 practice of the Bodhisattvas. Look at this. Tell me which page? 141. Okay. By the way, how many of you got the question, Chelsea's question? Raise hands. How many got the question, Chelsea's question? Okay. Chelsea, you'd like to repeat your question?
Yes.
A little louder.
My question is, when I'm in a difficult situation and non-virtuous emotions emerge, like anger or jealousy or fear, when I'm in the grip of the emotion, it feels like it's too late to employ any tactic, which tells me that I should do something before it happens. So my question is, what to do before?
Okay. There's one verse here in this, the 37 practice of Bodhisattvas, page 141. There's one verse there which precisely deals with Chelsea's question. When the anger is at its peak, to tackle that is very difficult. When you are in the grip of the anger, it's very difficult to tackle the anger. So, what should you do to stop it way ahead of time, right? Okay. What is it? Okay, page 146, verse 35. It reads, once you become accustomed to afflictions, they are hard to undermine with antidotes. Therefore, with the remedial weapons of mindfulness and introspection, to forcefully eliminate afflictions such as attachment, the moment they arise is the practice of Bodhisattva. Before it builds up the intensity. Before the afflictions like anger builds up the intensity, when they're on the verge to arise, always try to build your mindfulness aversion, the mindfulness and introspection, that I should not give in to the destructive emotions. This mindfulness should be there. You have to build the mindfulness that these are destructive. How they are destructive? By reflecting on all composite things impermanent, all contaminated things are suffering in nature. They make me suffer. You think of these more, then the more you think of these, then the mindfulness related to the points will frequently be your thought process. And then the factors which can otherwise trigger anger within you, affliction within you, the moment you meet with the trigger, instantly this mindfulness will kick in. When they kick in, the afflictions will be pushed aside. So this requires all these trainings to reflect on the, in other words, the reflect on the 4 seals. The 4 seals out of time, and be mindful of these 4 seals every now and then, and also remember when somebody else, in the grip of anger, in the grip of afflictions, how the people they behave. You look at them, and then you tell yourself, you be mindful that I should not behave like this. I should not give in to the afflictions. And these, say, the more reflection on the 4 seals. This is very helpful. Good. More questions? Okay, if not, we'll stop here. Yes.
So like what we did right now, that the sound of mystery is created by the clapping of both 2 hands, like both internal and external factors. Can it also be explained with the teaching of 2 darts of suffering, that one is the first noble truth, that there is suffering, that is the first noble truth, and one is that I compound that suffering by my reactions to it. That is the internal factor, that my reactions are the internal factor, and one is the basic suffering, which is the external world, that is suffering in nature, the samsara. So I compound that through my reactions, which is the internal factors. Can we explain it like that? Is it similar?
Okay, there's a good point raised. So what I would suggest is that here, I'm sure you have observed this, notice that we are trying to, whatever we learn, we try to relate this to the realistic world. You're getting it? Meaning that yes, it really resonates with my thinking. This is actually what is happening. So this must be well reflected in the experience. And then what you're talking about, the reaction and so forth, all these things will come afterwards. This is where how the miseries arise by the contaminated karmas. And with the study of the Arya-Nagarjuna's verse, ceasing of the karmas and afflictions is nirvana. Karmas and afflictions arise from inappropriate tension, which in turn arises from the elaboration of self-grasping ignorance. And this ignorance ceases through the wisdom of emptiness. So this verse will explain the whole mechanism about reaction and so forth. Yeah, don't worry, this will be discussed. Yeah. And whereas, if what is going to be discussed, if you see that these 2 don't really tally so much, do not hesitate to ask me again. Yeah. Okay. Teyata Om Gate Gate Paragate Parasam Gate Bodhiswaha Om Gate Gate Paragate Parasam Gate Bodhiswaha Om Gate Gate Paragate Parasam Gate Bodhiswaha